Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Stevie Aisha Mills. I am the I Love My Life strategist, and I help women push past their past so that they can loudly and proudly declare, I love my life. And I'm super duper uber excited because the conversation is one of my favorite things to do in life and in my business because I get to bring you some exciting special guests each and every Monday. You know, Mondays, they typically say that they are the days that most heart attacks occur. Why? Because people are so stressed out from their jobs. And I understand that because that used to be my story. So Mondays is kind of like my inspiration time to deliver to you guys so that you can learn and that you can just start loving the inspiration that happens from the conversations we have with these guests. So that is what we do. Today is going to be exciting because my sister friend is here. Let me read a little bit of her bio so we can make some grand things happen in this conversation. I know that will be. Lateka S. Carter is synergistically, and that's capitalized, y'all, gifted and innovated to produce and provoke change. I love that. She is a filmmaker, empowerment speaker, host, radio personality, and now author. She has written her first book entitled Transition You in 90 Days to help others transition from the inside out to live a healthier, self-sufficient, and balanced life with abundance. When Lateka is not working on any of these projects, you can find her creatively assisting clients of Kingdom Designing Productions, LLC. Throughout the years, Lateka has worked with groups of women, men, and youth, as well as businesses, schools, and churches in creating events, workshops, conferences, and outreaches in various communities. She understands the many struggles in life and how, quote-unquote, easy it is to want to give up, but utilizes her acquired wisdom, knowledge, and God-given talents to help others. She believes if you dare to be different, then you will stand to be counted. You better speak. Woo. Yes, come through, bio. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got half job for that right there because I dwell in the difference. Hi, Lateka.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you?
I'm absolutely phenomenal, especially now we get to talk to you. How are you?
Hey, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am blessed, and I am super duper uber excited because I love my life.
Yes, 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 yes. And
I thought you would like that.
Yes, I do. You're on top of it. And I remember the first conversation we ever truly had, and we sat down. It was like we couldn't leave each other's presence. That was just so amazing. And we just, in my opinion, developed this instant kindred spirit type of thing that is just amazing. And I just really want you to tell the listeners who you are and why you are, because just the story of what you've been through and how you are excelling in all areas of life now, like, that will inspire somebody. So I'm going to be quiet and let you talk, and then I'm going to come back in. We're going to conversate. Girl, you got me so excited I can't even get my words out because I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too, Stevie. I am so grateful and honored that you are giving me the privilege to come on your show, The Conversation, so that we can encourage others together just by having a unique conversation. And I do remember the time you and I met years ago in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think it was at the coffee shop. So you've kind of stuck with me since then. You know, you've been in my heart, and I'm very appreciative and honored to see how you are just excelling in your life. So, again, thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to me, my life, and what I'm doing to try to inspire other people, my life is now in a position in which I can see I'm starting to walk in my purpose. I am almost 43 years old. I think by the time the show airs, I will be 43. And I have transitioned into a place where this year my goals are focusing more on how can I be better. than I was last year? How can I get myself in a better position so that I can reach the masses of people by the platforms that God would enable me to do? So with that being said, my goals were not so much tangible things as they were last year. You know how you grow and you elevate into places and you learn how to trust God. So therefore, He increases you in those things necessary to give you the tools or to sharpen the tools that He's already put inside of you so that it will help you become that better person to get the job done. And that's where I feel that I am right now in my life. And with that being said, I try to inspire people through the platforms or the ways that God has given me. He's blessed me to be able to write my first book. I had to get that out, and that is actually, it's called Transition You in 90 Days. It's a 3-part self-help inspirational journal. And that was a process that I went through, Stevie, in 2012, the beginning of June 2012, where I hated my life. I didn't understand what it really means, what it really meant to say, you're happy. You know, this is just a great day. You know, you just fake the funk. Let's just keep it real. I don't care how much you're in church, how saved you are, how much speaking in tongues you do and shouting all over the place, all that stuff. The joy of what I needed in my life was not there because I focused more on my problems and not truly understanding the gift of the present day God was giving me. And because I focused on those problems, I saw more of the hurt and the pain and the despair, the dysfunction, what I didn't have as opposed to what God blessed me to have, and how to take the opportunity, seize them, and go after it. Those things were not instilled inside of me, so therefore I did not see those things. And as God moved me away, and I came to Greensboro, North Carolina, I tried to commit suicide a couple times before doing so, and He wouldn't let me die. I mean, he actually took me ghost off of all social media platforms. I talked to no one. And it was just, sometimes people just can't understand where you are in your life and the path that you're on. And no one could reach me but God. But I had to go through the process to get to where I am today, to even get to that place of where I was, to go through that process of transitioning myself. So as I begin to just take on the serenity prayer, if you will, I began to kind of put myself on that couch mentality, which was, girl, get yourself together. What is wrong with you? Okay, learn how to accept and take ownership of the things that you allow to happen in your life. Stop blaming everyone for your problems. You said yes to the marriage. You said yes to not fighting for your house, not even fighting for your job. You gave up on life. You know, you were the one. No one held the gun in front of your head and say, you have to do this. So I had to take ownership and to understand that I relinquished. You hear what I'm saying, Stevie? I relinquished my God-given power to the enemy to come and seize what God had given me, because all I could see was the lie he told me, that nobody loved me. My life wasn't worth living. My best days have already taken place in my life. I'm in a hopeless situation. My children don't even love me. And at that time, I had already been a widow at the age of 29. And then my children, I had to raise my children alone. And that's hard. It's difficult. And when, especially, who knows how to be a widow in the early 20s or late 20s? That's not something that you really want to wear a hat like that. And then I tried it again 7 years later, and that was a disaster. And at that point, I just felt like, here I go through another Job situation. God, I trusted you. Can we just have real conversation about that, Stevie? What do you do when you say you trust God, but you feel like he let you down? You don't understand that it wasn't him who let you down. But that's where you are, because a lot of people who are even in church or who are even saying, I trust God, and things don't happen the way they think it should happen or thought it would happen, get into a position where they're like, God, what happened? I thought you had my back. I asked you not to allow me to go through this place. I thought you were going to close the door if this wasn't going to be good for me. You know people like that, Stevie?
Yes. Yes. I think we've all been there. You know, we've all been, we all have had to get over it and go on. And that was actually the title of one of the retreat weekends I did in Atlanta for Beauty from Head to Toe tour. It's so true. You've got to get over it and go on. We all have our it moments. And what you're saying is really true. Like, we each have somewhere where we have trusted God, and it seemed that he was not there or he was not listening, or we weren't talking enough or talking loud enough. So, yeah, I definitely understand what you're talking about, and I definitely understand what it means to feel hate and feel stuck and feel all these negative emotions, and to have to dig yourself out from that place. You know, you have to dig yourself out, and that comes with just surrendering. It comes with a place in your life when you just surrender, and it's just like amazing what happens. And like what's profound to me is that, you know, even through all the pain, through all the hurt that you were mentioning, you took that time to transition because you feel the peace and you feel the calmness. It's kind of like after the storm, there's a calm period that happens. And I want to know, you know, how we, like in your book, the 90 days, the transition period. I don't want you to give away your book because we need to purchase that. But what is it that happens in the 90 days? Like what's so pivotal about that 90-day point that instead of 180 days or instead of 365 days?
Exactly. So what I begin to see, and by the way, that is a great question. I mean, a terrific question, because a lot of people don't ask that. They just go with the flow of whatever people say. And basically, for me, again, I didn't know in 2012 I was on a process. I was in a process that would transition into this book. I had no earthly idea. I was in survival mode. How do I get out of this place? And I went through just different types of steps. And in 90 days, sure enough, my life had turned completely around. And I was 37 years old, and I remember saying before the end of that 90 days, I think this was around August, I remember going to the pool and just taking one of those days, and I felt myself smile from the inside out. I mean, literally, it was a wake-up for me. I was like, what just happened? You know how some people can think of your first kiss? That was like my first. I mean, it was just so amazing. It was an awesome feeling. And I began to learn how to love myself. So as I went through that, you know, those places, and then God brought me back into 2016, the beginning, almost a year ago. He began to speak to me one day in prayer about this journal. He was like, I want you to write it down in a book to help other people. And I'm like, what? This was a process? What? So it's like me having to go back through those moments in time where God was giving me instructions on how to get through. And I was in a bad place, even when I started it. And I had to put myself back in those positions and even go into prayer and into meditation where I allow God to download to me. How do I do this? You know, it's like even with those years of becoming better as you go along and grow along in your life, it was more things that were just condensed and added to this to make it even better than what I initially went through as a process then. So as I began to start writing on this, it's like, why 90 days? Why not just write it and let people do whatever? It's like, why 90 days? And then it came to me how a new We develop a habit if we do something over and over repetitiously 21 days. It becomes a habit. So think about doing something in 30 days. You continuously do it in 30 days. So in 30 days, you make new habits. You form new habits. And hopefully, if you're doing it right, you'll get rid of some of the old habits. So because this journal is extensive to more just than a mental picture, a mental note, it also works on the physical man. It works on the spiritual man. And it also works on the financial man. So it's all about the mindset first. Tackling that mindset. If you can get that mindset under control and learn how to start turning your words and your actions into positive reactions and positive behavior, positive language, positive verbiage, positive stance, and you pay attention to what you're saying, what you're doing. And sometimes we don't do that. So in this journal, I'm teaching people how to go through this process, but on a daily note, making them accountable. I ask questions that would suggest, let me pull this up right here, and I can just quickly walk through. For example, I start off with talking about forgiveness, talking about taking ownership of your actions and having you to write down things about how you felt in the beginning. I take you down memory lane in the beginning so that you can write down that place of where it all began, what was a bad place. You have to identify first what an issue is. And once you identify it, you have to take ownership of it. And when you can take ownership of it, you have to get into a position to say, do I accept this? Am I okay with this being who I am, a part of me? This is a part of my character. Is this a flaw, or is this something that other people can see as a way that I can be a nice person, be a genuine person, being a more loving and caring person, strong, determined person, a healthier person. And when you can take on ownership, it goes right to that serenity prayer, to accept those things you have no control over. What you don't have control over, you have to understand. And that's what God was teaching me. Understand, you only have power over yourself, not over someone else. You can't pray and try to pray and hurt somebody. Come on now. You got to get control over yourself and point the finger at you and stop pointing the finger at everybody else. And as you begin to walk through those steps over and over, I prompt those questions to ask you, how did your day go? What do you need to accomplish? How did you feel your day went? And I start off, like I said, with the forgiving, and then I prompt you to pray, and I ask you to write down your prayer. I ask you questions like, how did you feel when you woke up? When you woke up this morning. Then I have you to stand in front of the mirror. So I have challenges inside of this journal where I have people to stand in front of the mirror. And they can do the naked stuff if they want to. I don't have nothing to do with that. But stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself and start speaking to yourself. But within that, I give them the words, because not everyone understands how easy it is to speak positive words over yourself. And a lot of times they don't see that, they don't understand it, because they don't believe that holds true for them. They can say nice things about someone else, but when it comes to them, because of past issues that keep coming up to the mind, they can't necessarily hold on to it and believe it and say, this is me. I am a good person. Yes, those things that happened to me in my past, those are not me. That doesn't define me or my future. And we take ownership of those things, which are just shadows, false evidence appearing real that can never speak in the present day or the future, except we give it the power to do so. So I prompt questions in the morning and at night, ask you to pray, teach you how to affirm your day, and I have empowerment quotes in here that I go over with them. I teach them how to set up goals, short-term goals, and I prompt those questions that will make them accountable to do the research. You can't just say, I want to save $1,000 this month. Yes, February 1st, I'm going to save $1,000 by the time February ends. Well, that's good. How are you going to get there? Is it really possible for you to get there to do that? And to teach them what it means to have realistic goals, as well as even the physical man, teaching them how to take tape measurements and measure the body, and even setting up some type of weight loss goals or certain type of calories, fat intake, things of that nature. Meditation and reflection is so important, and I go over those things with them. So by the time they get to the end, they have constantly done this process, these techniques, rather, in this journal, which is this 90-day process, over and over, until it becomes such a strong habit that it becomes life-changing. You learn how to be accountable for the words that are coming through your mind to speak out of your mouth. And because I ask you questions such as, how did your day go today? Did you see anything that you needed that presented an issue towards you that you didn't handle well? How do you think you should have handled it if you didn't handle it well? And if you did, what did you do? So I make them go back and relive those moments to see, yay, you did good, or you need to fix that. But how do you fix it? So I ask those questions. And this is a self-paced journal. I do have people who are constantly sending me emails or sending word to other people, or even sending me pictures where they've been highlighting some of the words in the book and constantly saying it over and say, oh my God, this is changing my life. And they're like, I can't put it down. And that makes me feel so good, because this was once my pain, Stevie. This was my pain. I give bits and pieces of my story in here as an example to show proof I know how you feel. Not just to say this is what you need to do, X, Y, and Z, and I never done it. But I give proof as an example. Sharon, there is one part when it talks about life insurance. It talks about budgeting and saving money and how important it is to set up life insurance. Do you have a financial plan put in place? Do you budget? Things of that nature. And I give a story about how my husband was murdered. And I go back to that day. Now, this is so personal and very personal when I shared this, because it could be embarrassing to a lot of people. And at one time in my life, it was very embarrassing for me. But I couldn't afford to pay the life insurance on our family. At that time, I was self-employed. He was paying the bills, and, he didn't really want to give me any money. Anyway, that's another story. But it got to a point where I let it go. And the next month, he was killed. And guess what happened? There was no money for insurance to bury him. That is serious, because at the age in your 20s, you don't think something like that's going to happen to you, especially me, because I was believing God to help him get his life together. I was thinking he was going to, our family was going to get on that same level. We were going to go to church and thrive together and just, be a strong family. And for me, that's not how my story ended. So my story ended with no life insurance. So you know what that meant for me? Ponding things to help my family, to feed my family, standing in lines to get food. These things were a part of my pain, and I shared it in here, but my pain has now become my purpose.
Wow. Oh, that was just amazing. I'm just like, wow. And I mean, there's nothing really left to say, Lateka, at all, because you've come and blessed us. I don't have anything to say. We have about 5 more minutes. So
okay.
In that time, what I want you to do is definitely say anything that's on your heart that we have not uncovered today, and also give your contact information and definitely how the book can be purchased.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity and allowing me to share on your platform. Let me go ahead and give you my information where you can find it. You can go to my website. That's transitionyouin90days.com. Everything is spelled out except for the 90. Transitionyouin90days.com. On the website, you will see where you can purchase the journals, the series, as well as other information about me. I do have encouragement on there. Started a radio show called Transitions Talk Radio. All of that information is out there. You can find me on social media, Divas Boss Lady, DIVAS. That stands for Dynamic, Intelligent, Vivacious, Ascending Sister, a name that God gave me. So you can find me under Divas Boss Lady or Lateka S. Carter. TransitionYouIn90days.com. So what I would like to share with the audience as a way of leaving is, no matter where you are in your life, you have to take a moment to stop and say, God, I thank you. I thank you for my life. I thank you for things being as well as it is. And learn how to let go of those things that you cannot go back and do over. Some things we just cannot do over. That was the outcome of it. It happened. Learn how to forgive yourself. But most importantly, forgive those who you feel have trespassed against you, because we are all human beings. We are all subject to error. None of us are perfect. We have to learn how to forgive those who have trespassed against us. But the word also teaches us that if we want to be forgiven our trespasses, we need to learn how to forgive. And in doing so, God forgives us. But also release that weight that you have on your mind, on your heart, when you have not forgiven people. When you learn to forgive, release that hold, because they have a hold on you. They may never even be thinking about you, never even come up, and some of them may have your name on their mouth and constantly speaking ill against you. I had my spiritual mother who taught me years ago to say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And even when you don't understand what that means and you don't know how to really let it go, keep saying it until it becomes natural and you do learn how to let it go. This is your life. You only have one life to live. You have to live it in motion. You have to live it to the fullest. You have to take the time to start thinking about you, who you are, and what you want to do in this world. And while you're doing those things, you learn to put a focus on you in your future and what God has for you. For it says in Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans and the thoughts that I have for your life, saith God. He thinks about good things for us, not evil things, those things that bring us into a prosperous, great place in our life. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be sunny. It doesn't mean great things are always going to happen and you're never going to go through anything. But if you will understand and learn, you allow him to direct your path, guide your footsteps, guide your steps, download to you the wisdom that you need, then you have the ability to get in position to trust him, because he made you, he created you, and he knows where he wants to take you. So if you can just trust him to do that, to be that guide, to be that leader, to be that help, because he loves you just that much, then you will see yourself growing and living, no longer surviving, because you trust the man, you trust the being that created you to be full of power. And all I can ask you to do, look yourself in the mirror and unleash that power that's inside of you by saying yes to your life. So you can say, yes, I love my life. And mean it.
That's the important part. That's the important part, to mean it. And I am so absolutely excited that you are here with us tonight. I'm just in a calm place because I'm like, Lord, what more can I do to just do? I feel like we need to do some more, because there are no excuses for anything. You know, when you hear about your story and hear about the things that you and your family have had to go through, and hear about just the raw truth and transparency that you have blazed into the pages of your book, when you hear about those things, there's nothing. We don't have anything to complain about. So whose life are we going to change next? That's how I feel. That's what this interview this conversation has truly helped me to really discover, because everyone leaves me at a different point, but that's why I've really uncovered for myself here, and we thank you for coming and showing up. And everybody listening, ladies, we are in the midst of Experience this year, 2017. Experience will be in Roanoke, Virginia. We have D.C., we have Philly, we have Atlanta. And Lateka has agreed to be with us in Atlanta. I'm excited. Yes, yes, yes.
I'm honored. I'm honored and elated to know that you thought about me to do that. At this point, God's already told me he was opening up platforms. My job is not to go seeking for them. My job is to get in position, stay better, get better, and be ready to give out as he gives in, as he puts in. So I'm grateful. I'm very grateful, because you didn't have to even bring it to my attention. And I thank you for being obedient to God, because it's your obedience that is helping somebody else to get free from the bondage of fear, the bondage of not thinking they're good enough to do anything absolutely, positively great with their life, because they don't think that they're a great person or they're a powerful person.
Amen. It's like, what do you say after that? There's nothing like, yes, and
I'm not
amen.
trying to talk over you. I know we're running out of time, so I'm trying to keep my conversation short.
No, because I know you hear from the Lord. So when you speak, I just listen. There's nothing to say. And there's literally nothing to say, because there's nothing to say for me to to add to that. I don't have anything to add to that. I appreciate that and praise the Lord for it. So I'm just like, I cannot wait till September, because I'm just gonna be at Experience, and I'm gonna be just listening. Every time we have Experience, when we started last year and did the pre-launch in Greensboro. And it was so amazing, because I was trying to figure out how to be at your event, how to be at my event, I wanted to be everywhere. And the one thing I knew that weekend was that I was like, I'm just going to sit here. These people who God has shown me to speak, they have words to speak, and that's no different than what we're going to do in Atlanta. So when you speak, I just listen, because I need instructions, and I need to hear. Those who have ears to hear, that's what they say, and we overcome by hearing and hearing. So I listen. I don't have a lot to say and talk about as far as
that's a blessing.
Praise Jesus. It's wise women such as yourself. I'm just thankful for you all being in my life, and I do not take that lightly, and I do not take it lightly that you're bringing your truth and your transparency not only to me but through the world, and leaving it in legacies, and through your children, through the books, through the platforms such as these that will be here long after we're gone from this earth. People will have the ability 100 years from now to listen to it, and to me that's very important. So I just, when somebody starts talking and it's something you need to listen to, I listen. I don't try to add to it, and that's just who I am as a person. So, y'all, all I got to say is get to Atlanta on September 22nd, because the women in Atlanta who I know and who I love and who will be on that platform, it's just like, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be having my notebook out, and we're going to be in an intimate and comfortable just place. Wear your jeans, wear your flip-flops, wear your whatever you want to do, just come, because that's what we need
hungry.
To get to. Yes, hungry, and come. Yeah. I've been telling people to come, not with the expecting of trying to figure it out, but expecting to get blessed in the atmosphere, because it's fertile ground. Don't try to figure out what experience is. Everybody's experience is different. That's part of the whole vibe of the event. My experience won't be the next lady, so I can't tell you about it afterwards, but you will experience something while you're there. So I'm elated as well, and I am excited. So y'all, get Lateka's book, get whatever she has, get to Atlanta, make grand things happen, change lives starting with your own. She is truly an epitome of that definition. She has made some amazing life changes, and just truly allowed other people to see that and to know that you can go on no matter what has happened. There are no excuses. Yeah. And it's so I love you, my sister. I appreciate you.
I love you too. God be the glory.
Yes.
I'm excited. There's just a fire inside of me, Stevie, that my purpose is speaking so much louder than my desire. You know, my purpose to help as many as I can, that fuels me to know that the rest of my days, no matter how much longer they are, they have to mean something.
Amen.
And that is what's important to me.
Amen.
Amen.
That's true. That's what I always say. I try really hard to not say have a great day. I always say make it a great day because you have the power to do so.
Yes, power. There you go. We have the power to control our lives and what we can and cannot or will not allow to happen. It's up to us.
Amen.
And, you know, we can keep this conversation going, but I'm sure you got to shut it down.
I love it. Yeah, because we got to give them something to come to Atlanta for. They might not, like me, I'm traveling, how many hours? 8 hours, I think. I will be coming down 8 hours from Virginia to Atlanta. So we can't give them all everything while they're at home. We got to give them something to travel for. So the beauty of the experience, guys, once you get there, the experience itself is free. So it's priceless.
That's
I always
awesome.
say priceless.
That's
so
awesome.
there are no excuses of you not being there. So
by the time this airs, they can feel free to come to my Facebook page, my social media outlets, because I try to use that to post powerful videos so that it's not even about who I know. It's about that person I've never met that needs to hear what God has said and has done in my life to give them hope to continue to make it. You never know what somebody's going through. And if I can help somebody's life be different by the time they leave out of the presence just from hearing one of my videos, not even talking to me, but just hearing one of the videos, I'm blessed.
Amen.
You know, all those things have finally come to a place where I have allowed it to get in a proper place that God can be glorified.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important. We allow so much junk. We allow so much mess to come into our way all the time. But when you can get into a position and you can say, God, yes, let your will be done in my life so that it may be a blessing to other people, because God told me years ago, my back was so far against the wall until I felt like it was in a wall, and immediately he gave me a word. And he said, because you feel that way, that's how it is. The addition is in the wall so people can go back and see where you have come from, because I'm going to use you as an example to show people what I can do for you if only you trust me. Woo! I didn't know it was going to be that type of journey. I was like, yeah, God, that's good stuff. But, honey, you got to go through. I'm going to tell you, you got to go through. But you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a thing. I love this woman that I have become. I love this woman, and I am so grateful. I never thought, I haven't even made my first millions yet, but I mean, it is not even about money for me, because that wealth, that this walking in the purpose that God has given you, that wealth of it that God gives you, there is no comparison to the feeling to know that you're making a difference. You are changing somebody's life. You are using your story of what was once heartache, pain, and everything to let them know God is real. He exists. He loves you. It's not just saying it. It's by you standing up, getting out of your bed every day, regardless of what you're facing, having the ability to not wear a frown on your face, but open up your mouth and say, hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? How are you doing, sir? You're looking nice. You know, just sharing love, the love of God, just sharing the love of God, because it's free. That in itself changes lives. when you learn to use it in demonstration and not just sit back and say, yeah, I love you. Demonstrate it. People can feel that. They feel when love is real. And everybody wants to be loved by somebody. I don't care who you are. You can say whatever you want to say, but you want to be loved and feel loved by somebody. And God loves us this much. Oh, my gosh. That he didn't allow me to die when I saw my life was breathless. He's like, oh, no, I got something waiting on you. I know you're going to make it through. Point A to point B. In between, I got you because I know you're getting to point B. And that's what matters. I told you better shut it down. You're getting me stirred up. You're giving me stirred up. I'm telling you, I can feel it all in my soul. I can feel it. It's just like, I've been waiting. I've been sitting back and waiting for God. Not sitting there, I'm just waiting. God, when you going to do it? When you going to do it? Not like that, but just waiting. God has been filling me for years. He told me, I put you behind the cover. I put you behind the curtain, basically. He hid me. Thank you, Lord. That's what he told me. He said, I hid you. And then just recently, the end of last year, he spoke to me one day in prayer. He said, I am now releasing you. And after I had that interruption in my life with that surgery that came out of nowhere in October, I was so distraught behind that. But I learned to just let it go and trust God. And I saw that it was a trap set for me. The enemy wanted to take my life out, and I didn't even know it until they had to reschedule my surgery. That was the day I should have died, October 4th, but God said not so. And they moved my surgery only because I opened up my mouth. That was it, and I was like, God, I just thank you. And he told me there is power that is coming. Hi, good God Almighty, Lord, I thank you, Jesus. Whew. He said there is power coming out of you after this. You ever heard of that? After this? After this? Suddenly, after this, somebody is waiting on a suddenly. Somebody is waiting on an after this because the hell they have been going through, and they're like, will it ever end? Honey, I'm just telling you, if you can just hold on and trust God with everything that you have and keep those words so ever present in your mouth, suddenly God's going to do it. It may not have been today, but you're getting closer to it. And after this, you can only imagine what God is getting ready to do. Oh, Jesus. You better shut it down, Stevie. Better shut it down. Shut it down. I can feel it. Oh, God, I thank you. Glory. Shut it down. You got to wait for the timing, and it will speak.
Amen.
All right.
I mean, sometimes you can't just, I wasn't saying, I was being obedient. You can't just shut God down. I can't.
Yeah.
With God what's happening. So.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, I know you only have a 30-minute broadcast. I don't know how long we've been on this, so that's why I'm saying.
This has been a little bit longer than 30 minutes, but it's all good because it's all God. But yes, everybody, we are going to not end the power that's going on, because we're going to continue it in person on September 22nd. But what we're going to do is stick a pin in it. We're going to stick a pin in it.
Keep it right there. Hold it right there.
Keep it right there. It's always an amazing pleasure to host the conversation. I am Stevie Aisha Mills, and I will always be from the great state of North Carolina. That's who I am. And guess what? I am the I Love My Life strategist, and I help women push past their past so that they can loudly and proudly not just say but declare, I love my life. And so if you ever need me, all you have to do is spell my first name, Stevii, and I promise you, you could Google it, you could go to .com, Stevie.com, anywhere, everywhere you need to be, and I'll be right there for you. So, guys, make it a great day. Like I say, don't ever have a great day. Make it a great day because you, and yes, you have the power to do so. Bye.
Bye-bye.